In my last video, I took a look at the Canon G7X Mark III and compared it to a few other cameras. It didn't do great, so I'm curious, is this camera actually an upgrade from the Mark II? Let's find out. In this video, we're going to compare the G7X Mark III against the Mark II and look at only a few specific features to see if it's actually worth the upgrade. Of course, the biggest change physically is the addition of the external microphone jack, which is huge. Don't underestimate that because the ability to connect an external mic will give you much better audio. Other than that, the camera is actually very similar. It's the same size, they both have the flip-up screen, the lens is even the same. But the autofocus on the Mark III was just not that great compared to the other cameras I was looking at. So I'm curious to see if it's at least better than the Mark II. It's been 3 years since the release of the Mark II, so I would hope things like autofocus and stabilization have gotten better over time. So we're gonna take a look at those two features specifically, autofocus and stabilization. I don't actually have the Mark II myself, but I do know someone who does, so let's give her a call. So where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Aldgate Square in London.
You have the G7X Mark II, right?
Yes.
You've been enjoying it so far?
I love it. It's great. It's so tiny and cute.
So I want to do a test at the same time where we are both pointing the camera at our faces and then turn the camera to show something in the background. And we're going to race to see how long the background comes in focus.
Okay.
So right now my face is in focus and I'm going to show you this nice bridge that I'm on. And then I want you to tell me when it looks like it comes into focus.
Okay. I can't really tell because I'm off the screen.
Yeah, me too. And it's too bright. It's too bright out here. I can't see the screen. Okay, that didn't work out great. Turns out it's actually pretty hard to do that many things at the same time. So I asked the lady to go record footage on her own and send it to me later. Let's take a look at that now. I'm gonna splice that into the video right here.
I am in London right now on Tower Bridge, and I thought that I would do an autofocus test for you on my Mark II. So this is me right now, and then we're gonna flip it around and you're gonna see what I'm looking at. Yep, took a little while. Oh, but it's a terrible view, isn't it? All right, so here's the shard, and back to me. And definitely not the fastest autofocus, even on the Mark II. And if folks want to see more of this, this is part of my London vlog, and you can check it out at youtube.com/Anomaly. And please excuse the sound, because I am on the middle of Tower Bridge on a Saturday night on a big weekend. Here you go.
During this nice sunset that I'm looking at, I'm gonna spin the camera around and show you this amazing sunset. See how long it takes to come into focus. Okay, I'm pretty sure it can do better than that. Let me just try popping in and out of the frame. Okay, that's a little better. We have a little better light this way, so let's try this again. I'm just gonna move my face out of the focus and show you the freeway behind me instead. So it took a couple seconds to lose my face, and then it took a couple seconds to find the focus in the background. Not great. Okay, back to the phone call. The other thing I wanted to test was stabilization. See which one stabilizes better.
Okay.
So
how are we gonna test this?
We're just gonna walk and talk.
We're gonna go from Old London, so this building is older than the United States, to the city, which is the part of London that looks like a futuristic space film.
Perfect.
So, yeah, oh, and here's some fun art in the background. It's very exciting. And the best part about this is that I am going through downtown London, like full of banker area right now. So I'm in the city and holding up two cameras and talking to them while wearing headphones. So
I wonder, I'll be curious to see how these two cameras deal with stabilization. I've heard the 3 is a lot better, but I'm not sure if that's going to make up for the fact that the autofocus seems to be a lot slower.
Yeah, I I would definitely say that on the Mark II, the autofocus isn't fast either. Like, it, compared to, for example, the Osmo Pocket, which is almost impossible to see on the tiny screen, but I definitely feel like it autofocus and tracks a lot better than the Mark II. But I do think that the Mark II does a better job of autofocus than my kit lens does on my Nikon D5000. So,
oh really?
Yeah, and that's I think largely because the Nikon is made for shooting still more than it is for video.
Yeah.
So it you know, if you're doing rapid fire still shots, it's pretty fast with autofocus, but if you're doing video, it's just not that fast. So
interesting.
My arm is getting tired.
Yeah.
I don't know how people feel about this tour. Here's a building that's like definitely older than Portland.
All right. Well, thanks for helping me with this test. And you have a YouTube channel, right?
So if people want to see the Mark II on YouTube, they can go over to Anomaly on YouTube, and there will be plenty of vlog footage of London shot on this Mark II.
Okay, so initial thoughts looking back at the footage. It looks like they actually both take about a similar amount of time to find the focus. I don't think either one is particularly better than the other in the autofocus department. The one thing I did notice is that the Mark III is definitely a lot better at stabilizing. The Mark II is a lot more jittery as it tries to stabilize the footage, which you can kind of see here, whereas the Mark III smooths it out much, much better. The other thing is that I noticed the Mark III has a lot less rolling shutter. So if you look at the background here as Lily is panning around, you'll see that it kind of tilts and it looks slightly distorted, but that is much less noticeable on the 3. So overall, it looks like the Mark III is definitely an improvement over the Mark II, and with the addition of the microphone jack, it's even more useful now. That said, if you've had the Mark II for a few years, should you rush out and upgrade to the 3? I actually don't think so. The Mark III is definitely an upgrade from the 2, but I don't think it's enough of an upgrade to spend the full cost of the camera again for it. But if you have the option of buying either one for the first time right now, I would go for the 3. Well, I hope this has been fun. I will leave a link to Lily's channel down below so you can check out her other videos shot on the Mark II. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.